What's up guys and ghouls, today we're playing Northop Golf Club, which is in Wales, and we are playing off the yellow tees, which is a par 72. We start off on the third hole, which is a par 4 and measures 342 yards with a slight curve to the right further down the hole. First shot went straight down the middle of my driver, second shot we were around 135 out and I have the 9-iron in hand. I must have hit this shot around 3/4 power because it wasn't a bad shot in terms of connection, but did go around 80 yards total. Third shot, decided to use a sand wedge. Absolutely chunked the life out of the ball and it landed about 20 yards total, and that is being generous. The next shot, I'm honestly not sure why I decided to leave my bag where it was, because it was pretty counterproductive and you probably can't see anything right now, but I did finally have a decent chip in which landed close to the back of the green. First putt, and it's for a chance at bogey. Honestly, the weight wasn't too bad on that, and if you continue watching my videos, you'll see how inconsistent my putting is, but finished off for double bogey. Next hole is another par 4, but this one is mostly straight and slightly shorter than the last at 320 yards. So pulled out my driver again, and completely duck hooked the ball down the left hand side. Wasn't entirely sure where the ball ended up, so I had to have a look. Found my ball, luckily lying in the long stuff. Wasn't in the greatest of lies, but I hit a nice clean 5-iron back down the centre of the fairway. Third shot, and I was probably playing around 60 yards, so decided to do a bit of a bump and run with my sand wedge, and it came out perfect. Ended a few feet from the hole. Confident putt for my fourth, which gives me my first par of the day. Next is hole 5, which is a par 3 measuring 170 yards. I played a 6-iron which somehow bounced the start of the green all the way to the back, so we will have a downhill chip for my second shot. Second shot, we're in a bit of the deep stuff, and I actually wanted to play it a bit higher and land softer, but I ended up duffing the shot and somehow ended up a few feet from the hole. Putting for par, and the putt was left to right, but I just wasn't confident enough and left it short. Tap in for bogey. Next hole is the 7th, measuring around 370 yards. Is a slight dogleg left and the green is only just visible from the tee box. I sliced my drive way right and was very lucky not to end up in the drink. Second shot, and we are quite far away from the green. The 4-ball in front rather than just leaving the green, as you can see, but the 3-ball behind me decided they weren't going to wait and actually started hitting the balls. One of which nearly hit me. So I was slightly annoyed by this point and maybe shouldn't have gone for the hero shot, but we did, and end up in the drink. Fourth shot after that drop, and I have to play the shot blind as I have 2 trees in front of me which I will need to go over. Played a decent shot which landed around middle of the green and bounced off the back. Having to chip for my 5th shot, and shot went slightly more left than I wanted, which leaves around 10 foot for double. Putting for double bogey, I missed that but got a little too confident for the triple putt considering I was still a few feet away from the hole. Could have easily went wrong, but luckily it didn't. Next is another par 3, but this one is quite short, 135 yards. First shot went quite a bit left and ended up in the green side bunker. The chip out the bunker was pretty good, but it had a bit of a terrible bounce and didn't roll as much as I wanted, leaving me around 15 foot to the hole. Completely scuffed the par putt and ended up pulling it quite a bit left, leaving around 4 foot for bogey. Tap in for bogey. Next hole is the SI1, 400 yard par 4, has around 200 yards down the fairway, and then it goes into another dogleg left for another 200 yards. Drive went around 200 yards total, meaning I did have around 190 to the pin, as I did manage to cut the corner slightly. Shot of my 5-iron went quite right, but somehow still ended up pin high, just off the green. Going to use my putt here and want to get close for par. Great weight on the birdie opportunity, just misjudged the green slightly as the ball went right at the last minute. Nice tap in for par. Next hole is a long par 5. Opted with my driver again as it was quite an open fairway. Did hit a fairly straight shot, it just went very high. Second shot of my 5-iron in hand, Just want to get it down there on this long par 5. Hit a decent shot and ended up in the middle of the fairway for my third. Third shot, and I sliced it way right but had good distance and ended up pin high. Nice up and down for my fourth shot of my sand wedge, which leaves me around 6 foot to the hole. Putting for par, and it was a great putt in terms of accuracy, just didn't hit it and needed to tap in for bogey. Next hole is another par 4, it's a dog leg right and a bit downhill. Hit my drive, went very right, wasn't sure if I lost it or not, but was quite confident I did. Third shot as I had to take a drop here, hit a nice sand wedge shot for my third, which went fairly straight and landed at the back of the green. Putting for bogey, didn't put nearly enough weight on the putt and only end up going halfway to the hole. Next is a double bogey putt. As you can see, my camera started to fall as it was a windy day. Missed the bogey putt and tapped it in for triple bogey. This is another par 4 and almost a 90-degree dogleg right. It is around 150 to the back, which I didn't realise until after my shot, and it's probably a good thing as I skied my 5-wood into the air as I hit it. Landed in the centre of the fairway, which leaves me around 140 out, so pulled out my 7-iron. Completely topped the ball, and the ball landed at the front of the greenside bunker. Chipping for my third, need a good up and down to have a chance of par, and I somehow managed to shank the ball way right. My fourth shot wasn't the best, pulled it a fair bit, which will leave me around a 10-foot putt for bogey. The putt again was left short. It was good accuracy, just didn't get the weight right at all and tapped it in for a 6. The next hole is the 15th, which is a par 3 measuring 160 yards. Using a 6-iron on this hole, and I topped it right about 100 yards, which will leave me around 60 yards to the pin. Second shot of a sand wedge, which is much better and lands on the green with around 6 feet to the hole. Sunk the putt for my par, and it was easily my best putt of the day so far, as the accuracy and weight were pretty much spot on. Second to last hole, and it's the last par 5 of the day at just shy of 500 yards, and it is a dogleg right. Hit my driver, the hole is very wide but I did go left into the rough. Second shot of my 5-iron, and I hit it pretty clean out the rough, travelling right down the middle and landing about 100 yards out. Smooth pitch and wedge shot for my third, landing left of the green, pretty much pin high. Fourth shot and decided to putt off the hard ground, pushed it quite a bit right, leaving myself with 5 foot for par. Decent attempt at the par putt, which just misses, leaving me with a tap in for bogey. Last hole is a 360 yard dogleg left par 4. First shot and hit a beauty of a drive, cut the corner and the ball landed in the centre of the fairway, leaving around 60 yards out. Second shot and played a nice chip shot, landing on the green in regulation, giving me a 15 foot for birdie. First putt and absolutely whacked it with the ball going 10 feet the other side of the pin. Putt for par and the weight was pretty good, just didn't read the line correctly. Left me with a pretty simple tap in for bogey.